Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy. Why we out here? I don't know. Just keep going. Why we going in circles? I don't know. Just keep going. I'm gonna get out this circle. No, dumbass, get back in the circle. Oh shit, okay. I don't know where we going, but I'm gonna trust whoever in the lead. But who in the lead, I don't know. We just going because it's the motion. Don't disrupt the motion of what's going on. Just follow. No, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Oh shit. Yeah, let's talk about it. Hey, so, boy, let's chop it up. What up, man? It's Stu. Grumpy Soldier Photography. The dopest, the illest, the realest. Let me emphasize, the realest that you may find, man. And sometimes me being who I am and keeping it 100, keeping it a buck, keeping it funky and keeping it fresh, get me in a lot of heat, boy. So let's talk about it, man. So, to everybody's surprise, I got booted, man. I got booted out of a photography group, man. Now, it's supposed to be a group that's FUBU, for us, by us, black photography group. But to let me also say, I got reinstated too. So what happened? All that shindig about a photographer that I've been having a little bit of with. Basically, I don't like his movement, man. I don't like his traction. I don't like his motive. And I called it out on several occasions, right? Like, if you're gonna tell me you a 6 and 7 figure photographer when we didn't ask how much money you make, be thick-skinned enough for somebody to ask you how you got there. Be willing to share that, and that person wasn't. It was almost like every time somebody would post something, he throwing it in they face how successful he is and how much money he make and how much but he ain't sharing no nuggets on how to help them get there. You know what I mean? So, and I call that out, and him being the admin of the group or a moderator or whatever, he booted me. He didn't ask nobody else their opinion about should we boot this person. I went to go reply to one of his bullshit comments, and I couldn't reply. And I looked at my group listings. The group was no longer on my group listing, so I contacted another partner of mine who was in charge of that, the admin for that group for a while, and he said, let me look into it, man. And sure as shit, motherfucker booted me, man. See, that's what happened when you make people uncomfortable. A hit dog gonna holler, man. Every time you can throw a rock into a pack of dogs, man, you ain't got to say no names. You ain't got to aim at them. They gonna let you know who you hit. Yeah, they gonna let you know who you hit, man. I don't follow the trends. I don't follow. I ain't gonna say I don't follow the rules, but I do follow the rules. Nothing I did or said was against any rule. He just didn't like it because it hurt his feelings. And I challenged it. I didn't challenge it in a disrespectful way. I'm trying to help everybody by challenging it. Brother, if you gonna sit here and say how much you making, bro, share with us how you got there. I ain't saying brick by brick, piece by piece, dollar by dollar, but share some of the experiences and all those different things of how you got there. You didn't get there overnight. You damn sure didn't get there by yourself. Somebody was in your ear like, bro, that is... You know what I mean? So share that, man. Share that. And I've never been one to run from or get out of a circle, a vicious circle, right? And I saw a post today where it talked about how a goat herder came in with his herd of goats around a bonfire, and he led them initially, and then he jumped out the circle, but they look ahead and see that somebody else running, so they just keep following and just keep circling and just keep circling. And just keep circling. No, nobody ever jump out the circle to say, why the fuck are we here? Where are we going? We just running in circles. And that's exactly what I challenged. And he didn't like it. But the Most High don't like ugly, man. The Most High don't like that energy. So I contacted who I contacted and talked to them. And I ended up talking to the owner of the group. And they put me back in play. I'm back in the game, coach. But what that person did was work themselves right out of the group. They banned him and reinstated me. Duh. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just real. I'm going to keep it buck. I'm going to keep it funky with you. But I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And sometimes the word why can be very offensive, and people can get in their feelings about the word why. Why isn't always a disrespectful word. I teach my kids, of course, you can ask me why, but once I tell you the why, don't ask me why again. Don't ask me why again. I already told you. I don't want you just following me and following my rules, because, you know, based on how I grew up, it was do as I say, not as I do. You know what I mean? And that's wrong. And I had to learn that as now I'm a parent. That is wrong. Don't just do what I say, but then you can't do what I do when you see me modeling the wrong behavior. And the sad thing is, man, without me having to mention this gentleman's name, people was in my comments already knowing who it was. Because they've had run-ins with this person based on the comments he leaves. He don't post any work in the group. He posts his trolling ass comments in the group. And when I challenged it, like, bro, let me see some of your work. And then when I go on his page and look at his work, I'm like, okay, never mind. You may have the marketing down, but everything else is middle of the pack. Nothing I should be really worried about or trying to gain knowledge on. So let me pick your brain about this marketing piece, because the images piece, see you. You know what I mean? So understand the fact that you don't have to follow this circle, this vicious circle. Some of us doing this circle in life. We doing it in our relationships. We doing it in our marriages. We doing it in jobs. We doing it in careers. And let me tell you how I know. Because as a Army recruiter, gold badge recruiter, ring bearing recruiter, these are all things that are insanely difficult to get. In the time that I did it, it was in 04 to 08 on recruiting duty, when we was in the peak of filling foxholes to go fight a war on terrorism. To put people in the Army and take people's children and put them in harm's way was incredibly difficult. But I had a stage commander that was toxic. I'm talking toxic. We just called her a redhead devil, man, because she was redheaded, and we walked through the door and, man, we getting cussed at. We motherfuckers. We this, we that, we dirt bags, we shit bags, we this, da 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 da. Why? Because she just probably got her ass kicked by her station, by her leadership, because we failed to meet the Army's mission for our station. So of course, shit rolls downhill. And when she gone, everybody in the office talking shit. Everybody talking shit about her, about how they can't stand her, how da 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 da. So when we get in meetings, man, I guess I was the martyr. I would say, bro, like, you can't talk to us like this. You ain't talking to me like this. You may get away with talking with the other 4 or 5 people in here like this, but this guy right here, Stu, no, you can say that. And so I ended up with a lot of hot water, right? Because that comes down to being insubordinate. No, it's a stand-up motherfucker. You're not finna talk to me like that. And you're not finna talk to these other grown-ass men and women that's been in the Army a lot longer than you, but because you're in a position of power, you want to abuse that power and think that's going to make us want to work for you. At the end of the day, we got to work for you. You got to make us feel like we're working for you and not the Army. You know what I mean? We got to be willing to come in here and work for you, but so we can put the people in the Army, so the Army is now happy with us. And of course, I ended up in a lot of hot water for that. And it wasn't the first time. Of course, in the Army, there's some things you can and cannot question. Like, biggest red flag to me is when they took our gas masks away. When we went to go fight a war on terrorism, they took our gas masks away, saying we don't need those. Whoa, 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 skirt, time out. What? How we not need those? We are here fighting a person in Saddam Hussein who has mustard gas his own people. Anthrax shots, we got dosed up with that shit before we left. Smallpox, we got dosed up with that shit before we left. But you take our protective equipment away that's supposed to help not get the shit like that? But at that time, I'm thinking it, but I can't say it. So there are times to voice your opinion. There's times just to shut the fuck up. But understand the fact that we don't have to follow trends. Even on my YouTube channel, I ain't following no trends. I'm going to be that guy that's going to have the kit in front of you and tell you how I use it. Not digging in menus and the coding on this lens is this. This lens was made in 1985 and it was only 1,900 of them put into production and and the bokeh and the this and the that. That ain't me, man. I'm going to tell you what I shoot, why I shoot it, and why I like it, and what the results are for me, this guy. I'm not going to follow that circle. I'm not going to follow that trend. So if you want that, I'm not the channel that you want to tune into, because I'm not going to sit here and do that. Because I've watched some other people run that vicious circle of YouTube, and then if you know ballistics, we have this thing called a tracer round, right? We used to load them up 1, 2, 3, 4 tracer, 1, 2, 3, 4 tracer, 1, 2, 3, 4 tracer, right? And those tracer rounds we used as rounds to see where things are going. Or that first round may be a tracer so you can kind of see where you're shooting to, and then you can make adjustments, right? After a while, that round has a burnout time on it. It's only going to go so far before it burn out and you can't see it no more, and that's exactly what it is with running that circle. You're going to run into that tracer burnout. You're going to get tired of feeling like you're running the same old rat race. That's why when people go to jobs and they hate their boss, they quit. Because they get tired eventually of running that same old rat race, right? That same old rat race. But you got some people, man, that's 100% okay with being in that position of just, I'm just here so I don't get fined, man. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Like, I will follow y'all. I will follow all the rules, whether I agree or disagree. I am just here so I do not get fined. And unfortunately, on a job, that's cool. As an entrepreneur, you can't do that, man, because you work for you. You got to set your own rules, your own boundaries, your own structure, your own whys. You're the only person running that circle. And every once in a while, it's time for you to go and take a seat somewhere and say, why am I running this circle? Am I doing this for me? Or am I doing this for clicks? Am I doing this for likes? Am I doing this for followers? Am I doing this for subscribes? Am I doing this for sponsors? Am I doing this for whatever? You got to ask yourself that. Your number one fan, why are you doing this? Why are you picking this up every day? Why are you marketing every day? Why are you you reaching out to clients every day? Why are you doing these things? So in these photography groups, man, like I'm very shell-shocked and I'm very timid to offer my advice because I can be too real. Because the owner of the group asked me to be an admin, and I said I don't think I'm the right person for that job, because most of the stuff that gets posted in here probably wouldn't get posted in here if I was the approving authority, and I don't want that on me. Because it's a group of black photographers, but it seems like the only stuff that gets posted in the group is stuff with curvy tops and bottoms. To me, it's very degrading of our women. Black, white, yellow, green, purple, blue, it's just degrading work. And that's just not the stuff I would approve of. And it's just, but that's the work that gets the most traction, the most likes, the most engagement. And it was so bad that they had to even put stipulations on when you can post that type of work. If you have to do that, the climate of the group is in the wrong, it's not where it needs to be. And I don't want to be the guy that's being the administrator on approving and not approving whether or not that work gets into the group. I don't want to be that person. Unless you tell me that's what you want. I want that stuff cleaned up, then yeah, I might be your guy. But if you want that because you want more people to participate, now it's about, it comes down to quality over quantity. Even when I was in the Rough Riders in Hawaii, it's like we would just let anybody in because we wanted numbers. We wanted the biggest group on the island of Hawaii. We wanted the most double R vests riding around the island of Hawaii than the other motorcycle groups. But I don't think we were very selective in who we allowed in that group. And I was the bike captain, and there were some guys that were not there fundamentally with their skill set to be riding with us at the speeds and the maneuvers that we were doing, some of those guys just wasn't cut out to be doing that stuff, and there was a lot of accidents. But I could vote no, but if 10 people vote yes, then the person, they in the group. It wasn't a unanimous vote. It was just, it would had to be the majority vote. And a lot of times I was the guy that didn't raise my hand for some folks, but they got in because I got outnumbered, because people wanted numbers. So just understand the fact that you don't have to follow this fucking circle. Break away from the circle, be ostracized, go your own way, carve your own lane, and trust me, you will be a lot more pleased with the results of following your own intuition and your own gut. Ask your own whys. Ask yourself your why. Be that person to break away, and then somebody else see you broke away and you doing just fine. Now they break away. And then somebody else look and be like, oh shit, we ain't got to be here. Boom. And they gone. They off and doing their own thing. Be that person. Follow your dreams. Follow your heart. Follow your vibrations, man. Love y'all. Peace. Don't run in circles no more.